I wanted to talk about the relationship between the older brother and the younger brother in the show that I had discussed and teased at various points. Their dynamic is based off the one between me and my younger brother, right? So I'm 12 years older than he is, and for that reason, there's always been more of kind of a wonder of is this really a sibling relationship? A lot of siblings that are close in age, I know, butt heads, have some kind of problem with each other. It's not always unhealthy. Competition is something that can be very stimulating in terms of getting people motivated to do something. But with a gap that large, there is this more, on the part of the older brother, paternal positioning of like the substitute parent, closer to a guardian than an actual just sibling. Um, and again, this is where they have similarities in terms of similar powers. The older brother mentors the younger brother, shows him his just the ropes of using his abilities that are like his own. But the younger brother gets his powers much younger than the older one. The older one was probably about 14, 15, somewhere from like 13, 14, 15 when he acquired them. And the younger brother was about 4 or 5 when they started to manifest. So he's even in just being, 6 or 7 when the series starts, very experienced, at least in the basics of like flying around and having his own little attacks and whatnot, just stuff that he's picked up from his older sibling, and just kind of having that unique dynamic of having to maintain, these extraordinary abilities at a young age, and really embraced entirely that you are different from most people. And from a narrative standpoint, with the gap being as big as it is, there are events, not a whole bunch, but there are a couple of different flashback induced, things that took place in the story about 8 years ago, 10 years ago, stuff that happened when the older brother was a kid, when he was like 10, 11, whatever, where these events, they happened when the older brother, again, was a child, but the younger brother didn't exist and would have no memory of these things, which kind of has always been so interesting to me, where like you have a sibling that lived for an entire decade and even a few years, with, just as an only child. And there's this stuff from their past that comes up every now and again. Oh, when I was 11, this person that was friends with my grandparents was killed. Just stuff like that happens, and then the younger brother's like, how come you didn't? I didn't know about this. Like, you didn't exist. Just that's something I find so fascinating about like just having a show like this where you have characters at all these various points of their lives, with the younger brother is not even 10, and then the older one is like 20, and then the grandparents are in their 70s. So it's nice to have like variety in terms of just the cast being where they are. And also, I should say that I am someone who fully believes in the importance of ending stories, right? Like I talked about how, for me, I'd like at least 2 seasons. I'm also someone that talks about like wanting to see, characters grow and like, everything taken over, like eventually transitioning from one place to the other. Were this show to go on for, let's say, 6 seasons, 7, 8, 9, right? Some number that's like above probably like 5. I would very seriously transition the younger brother to just like usurping the position of his older brother as like as the like the main protector. I don't say main character because my stuff tends to be an ensemble cast. I consider that little like small family of the grandparents and the grandsons, and their little like 2 friends, as being the protagonist as a group. But I would transition the older brother to being kind of like in this retired or semi-retired role, and have the younger one take his place as the person who is now, the main individual trying to stop things and just respond to threats. Where the older brother would still maybe get involved if it's some really serious thing. Maybe like once during the season, twice during the season. It's really just to kind of show that like in real life. I know with stuff like Spider-Man and Batman and Superman, you're gonna have 15, 20 different years of just using the same characters over and over again doing the same thing. But with real life, there is what is called progression, and someone who, let's say, started fighting crime when they were 13, 14, 15, when they hit 20, 21, 22, 23, maybe they want to go to school. Maybe they want to get, married. And it's just one of those things where the younger brother having the same abilities and being much younger allows for that to be something that could happen, and give the older brother that sense of closure that you're not going to have to spend the rest of your life just dealing with all of this insane stuff because, oh, you're the only one that can do it. It's like, no, in the beginning, he is effectively like what is it? I guess just to steal something from TV tropes, like the big good, right? The figure that when he shows up, things are more tipped in favor of the younger brother and then the grandparents, but he's not someone who would really need to always be involved. Like there are threats, they're not that big of a deal that the younger brother can handle on his own or with the best friend character. It really doesn't need his sibling to bail him out all the time. And that's also done on purpose to kind of show the independence and effectiveness of the younger brother, who by the time the story has started, even if he's only 6, 7 years old, he has been using and training with these powers, and so is capable of, at the very least, being able to ward off some of the minor threats, stop a few burglaries and just other little, street level stuff. When you get those big, huge, I'm going to destroy this whole city and whatever, those kind of threats, that's where the older brother shows up to assist him or to be more involved. Like with the main villain, the younger brother can't fight him by himself. He can certainly hold his own a little bit, but he's not an experienced fighter. The main villain has been doing this for years, right? So it's just one of those things where having the older brother there allows for there to be like a balance, right? And in the event of having this go on for several years, if not longer, you would see that natural transition of just the older brother was there for his little sibling, and he showed him the ropes. And now after, defeating, threat 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, he can go and, mostly be at peace, but he'll always be there to help his little brother if he needs help. And that's the kind of dynamic I like to have with my own sibling. And, it's something that I'm interested in seeing how it plays out.